Okay, picture this. You find a weird baby, right? Not yours. Definitely off. So, naturally, you heat up a shovel in the fireplace and hold its feet to the flames until it confesses it's a fairy spy. Cozy, right?
For heaven's sake, that's not exactly how Fawcett presents it. It's based on historical folklore methods, however barbaric, for revealing a changeling. Context is key.
Context. The context is she tortures a baby. A fairy baby, fine, but still. Welcome back to Book Radio, folks. The only book show that tells you whether the main character belongs in jail. Today, we're dissecting Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries, which apparently is code for how to abuse mythical creatures for tenure.
That is a gross oversimplification. The book is a meticulously crafted academic fantasy exploring the intersection of folklore and...
Oh, here we go. Meticulously crafted, like your ridiculous argument that Moby Dick wasn't just about a guy needing serious therapy. This Emily Wilde sounds just as obsessed. Only her white whale is Tinker Bell's evil cousin, and probably has daddy issues too.
Can we please discuss the actual characters without projecting your pop psychology onto everything? Emily Wilde is a Cambridge scholar, dedicated, if socially challenged. She's focused on her research into the fae, specifically the elusive hidden ones in fictional Ajazland.
Challenged. The woman glares in her sleep. Reviewers are calling her rude, pedantic, maybe autistic, which, okay, fine, representation matters. But does the representation have to include child torture? People would cancel her faster than you cancelled our Moby Dick. Rematch.
It's a complex portrayal. Her single-minded focus, her difficulty with social cues. It makes her vulnerable but also drives her research. And the changeling incident, while deeply unsettling, is presented as a desperate measure based on the lore she studies. It's a moral gray area within the book's world.
Gray area? It's 50 shades of messed up. And then there's pretty boy, Wendell Bambleby, waltzing in. Her academic rival. Insufferably handsome. Flirty. Probably stole his research papers. I kinda love him. He's like Loki. Mixed with that annoying guy from marketing who thinks he's God's gift.
Wendell is problematic. He's charming, yes, but also arrogant, potentially deceitful, and frankly, quite cruel in how he mocks Emily's personality traits, especially if we are reading her as neurodivergent. And reviewers rightfully point out he flirts outrageously with other women right under Emily's nose.
Yeah, but he's hot and mysterious. Is he fae? Probably. Does he secretly love Emily, even while being a total prat? Definitely. It's called tension. Like my neighbour, Barry, trying to flirt with the mail carrier. While his wife is right, they're watering the plastic flamingos. It's compelling.
Comparing Wendell Bambleby to your neighbor Barry is certainly a choice. The point is, their dynamic is built on rivalry and misunderstanding, a very slow burn romance.
Slow burn. More like glacial melt. Okay, so Emily the awkward torturer and Wendell the hot liar. Is the book itself actually any good? Or is it just, footnotes and feelings? Because people online are obsessed. Infinite stars. Read it in one day. My oxygen. Get a grip. People.
The writing style is deliberately academic, presented as Emily's field journal, complete with footnotes. Some find it immersive, others find it dry. I personally appreciated the footnotes. They add layers to the world building, explaining the specific fae lore of Hrafnsvik.
Footnotes. Who has time for footnotes? It's like buying a car and getting excited about the owner's manual. And don't get me started on cozy fantasy. Cozy. They mention severed heads. Someone literally gave it a high rating because of the severed heads. That's not cozy. That's a Tuesday night at the Dahmer residence.
The cozy label in fantasy often refers more to the low-stakes, character-focused narrative and setting, rather than a complete absence of darkness. It's about the feeling of being immersed in this specific, contained world with these characters, even if disturbing things happen. Unlike, say, the world-ending stakes of Lord of the Rings.
Low stakes. Wendell nearly gets his hand chopped off. Emily gets kidnapped. That's not low stakes. That's a bad weekend trip. And the nerds are fighting online about whether a woman could even be a Cambridge professor. In 1909. Who cares? Did she torture the fairy baby or not?
The historical accuracy point is valid for some readers, but it is fantasy. Okay, let's try your ridiculous game. If Emily Wilde were a sandwich, what would she be?
Ha. Finally. Okay, Emily. She'd be dry rye bread. Maybe some very thinly sliced, slightly bitter cucumber. A single leaf of wilted lettuce. And a smear of unsalted butter. Eaten alone. In a library. While judging your sandwich.
That's depressingly apt. Look, the book has flaws. The changeling scene is ethically horrifying out of context, and frankly, even in context, Emily can be frustratingly obtuse. But the world building is intricate. The slow burn relationship has its moments, and the depiction of dangerous, non-Disney-fied fae is compelling.
Yeah, the banter's okay, I guess. When Wendell isn't bleeding out, anyway. You nearly severed my hand. Casual. Love it. But the pacing drags. The footnotes are annoying. And Emily needs serious anger management. And maybe bail money.
All right, wrap it up. Final verdict. Use our patented, completely nonsensical rating system.
Okay, Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries. I give it 4 out of 7 questionable folklore experiments. It made me uncomfortable, slightly bored, but also weirdly invested in the hot mess rival. Would I torture a fairy baby based on this book? Ask my lawyer.
I'm giving it 6 out of 10 meticulously researched footnotes. Problematic elements aside, it's a unique blend of academic rigor and fantastical danger. But reader beware the ethical quandaries and the severed heads.
See, even you admit it's messed up. Join us next week on Heart.But Radio when we tackle the existential dread of Gary the Sentient Garage Door's midlife crisis. Is he wood? Is he metal? Does he dream of electric sheepdogs?
I need a new co-host. This has been Heart.But Radio. Try not to torture any mythical creatures before next week.